How much does trucking payroll really cost? Most people just look at a provider's fee. Maybe it's 50 bucks a week or a couple $100 a month, but that's just the surface. The real cost of payroll includes hidden fees, missed tax savings, hours of your time, and sometimes even driver turnover. In this episode, I'm going to break it all down for you so you can understand what you're really paying for and whether it's time to make a change. Hi, I'm Mike, and this is the Driven for Success Trucking Podcast. Let's start with the obvious. There's the cost. There's the most of payroll services will have a base fee, and it'll be weekly or monthly or however often you do your payroll. And some will have a per employee or per check fee. And then some stop there with higher rates, but then there's other people that have lower rates, but they'll charge you for all the other things. Like they'll charge you for having to generate W-2s or having to file tax returns for you, which is to me is really part of doing payroll. But it's all a different way of getting there. They'll charge you for garnishments, having to add them and having to pay them, or tax filings in general. Just, oh, we got to do your state withholding. That's an extra $10 or whatever. And here's one that happens more often than people realize. If an employee wants their money into two direct deposit accounts, some payroll services will charge you extra for that. And I tell you all these things not to tell you that we're better because we don't charge that way. We charge a flat rate for the number of employees you have, but we get to the same number they do basically. There's always going to be little exceptions, but the idea is we're all going to end up with the neighborhood of the same annual cost. We just present it to you differently. So again, for anybody who doesn't know, I am the president of Superior Trucking Payroll Service. So I have skin in this game, and I want to acknowledge that now. But my goal here is to give you an unbiased idea of what the cost of trucking payroll really is. So, for example, if all you care about is cost, you're like, you know what? I know everything about payroll. I grew up in it. Whatever your story is, I just want the cheapest way to get my taxes paid and get my employees direct deposited. You know what? Gusto.com is your friend. They're going to be the low cost provider most of the time. Intuit, QuickBooks Online, also cheaper than us, cheaper than pretty much everybody else. So if your only thing is cost, I'll save you the next 12 minutes to listen to this. Go to Gusto, tell them I said hi. I don't get anything for it, but it's the right thing to do. Our goal is to help you. And if that helps you, you're awesome. Keep on trucking. Now that I've said that, these other little charges do add up, paying $7 for a paper check or paying $10 to process a garnishment or a 401k administration fee every week or $50 for quarterly filings and things like that. That does all add up. And we're going to talk at the end of this about what you can do about it. But for the meantime, just know that those costs are at least in front of you and they're just, and then most payroll services, almost all, I don't know of any who don't, are going to disclose these things to you. So it's not that much of a secret. But there's the hidden cost. This is where things get real, you know? Okay, so you pay the $50 or whatever it is, $60, depending on how many people you have and how often you pay. But what about the time that your office people have to spend fixing errors? What about the time that you have to spend dealing with letters from the IRS or from the state? That's stress too. That's not just time. That's stress and that's worry because those letters escalate quickly and they're automated letters. So even if you try and call the IRS, which is harder and harder to do because they have less staff, and you've been trying to get through to them and you send them a letter, if they haven't processed the letter yet, which is likely, you're going to start getting meaner letters and meaner letters. That's a lot of stress. You also have issues too, and this is where driver turnover comes in. That a driver just not understanding their check, being frustrated with it, or whether you made a mistake or you didn't, frustrating the driver, it doesn't matter who's right or who's wrong. They're going to quit anyway because they're going to believe that they were right. And the time it takes for you to convince them that you're right and for them to agree and go, that was my bad. That's a lot of time. So you end up then you look at a driver and go, oh, they have a bad attitude. No, they just thought they were paid wrong and they want to get the money they felt like they were owed. I don't think that's an attitude issue at all. I think you as a small trucking company owner would want to do the right thing and want to pay them the right amount. So we just have to agree on what the right amount is and we're home. But all these things take up a lot of hidden cost time and money time with payroll tax penalties and things like that. By the way, 1 in 3 small businesses gets a tax penalty every year. The average penalty is a little over $800. So that's if you want to put it into money, that's money. plus all the time and effort you had to put into dealing with those letters and those notices. But there's another big opportunity too, and that's the per diem savings. We're going to talk about it in the next few episodes after this one. But you can save up to $2,500 a driver a year in payroll tax and work comp by paying per diem if you have over the road drivers, and your driver makes more money too. So that's also just going to help your driver retention and lower your turnover just by paying them right and using the right people that can do it. I mean, it's a huge thing. So I don't want to, it's those hidden costs. It's the things that you don't see on a proposal from any payroll service, including ours, that really add up. That's just not, it's not the best use of your time. And then there's so that we've gone through the obvious costs and we've gone through the hidden costs. Now we're going to talk about opportunity cost. And that's an economic term for what you could have been doing instead that would have been better, basically. So the opportunity costs are, instead of spending your time dealing with all the things we just talked about, could you be dispatching better? Could you find a better load? Maybe find a load that pays you an extra couple $100 or $100 even. Could you be growing your business? Could you be establishing relationships with people who can benefit you in the future, whether that's shippers or better brokers or any of those kinds of people? You could be making your business better. Spending time researching buying your next truck or selling your current truck to trade in and making sure you're getting the best deal. Things like that. That's all things you could be doing if you're not having to mess around with trying to figure out payroll. Another thing too is, could you be recruiting drivers? Could you spend your time trying to find better drivers or more drivers? There's always talk every once in a while about a driver shortage and whether it's real and all those kinds of things. I think everybody can agree that a good driver shortage is real. So you can go get a better driver or help your current drivers be better and connect to them more and lower your turnover and things like that. Those are all way better uses of your time than farting around with payroll. I mean, payroll should support your business. It shouldn't slow you down. And none of you, I promise, none of you got into trucking so that you could do payroll. That's not what you do. Much like we don't do payroll, we don't back trucks up into docks here at Superior Trucking Payroll Service because we would be terrible at it. I would be historically bad, personally. And I've seen these trucks and I've seen these guys do it. There's no way. So even a wide open dock where there's no other trailers to the left or the right, there's no way I could do it. So that's what I'm saying. Do the thing you do well. And that is getting loads from here to there and finding drivers and making sure your equipment's well maintained and things like that. Don't mess around with payroll. Like that's not worth your time. You'll make it back in a better load. You'll make it back in keeping a driver. You'll make it back in growing your business. Now let's go back to this pricing thing. I talked about how most payroll services, near all of them I've ever seen, to be fair, are pretty upfront about the other costs that they have. For example, we charge a flat rate for the number of people and how often you pay and how many states you're in. Like those are really the only variables. Other people have it, they do it a different way. And there's lots of ways to get to similar numbers. So these are some questions you should ask to make sure that you're getting a fair deal. Are you paying a flat fee? Are there surprise add-ons? Is per diem being handled correctly? And if they say yes, ask them what it is. Are your taxes filed automatically as part of your base rate, or is that an extra service? I know I believe it's QuickBooks, the cheapest rate that you get does not file your taxes. So it means you have to make all your own tax payments and file your own tax forms, and they'll give you the data to do it, but you still have to do it. So is that really worth the savings to you? And it may be, like, just so we're clear, that may be enough for you. You're like, nope, I'm good. So then, they're your people. Ask them how they understand trucking. Ask them what detention is. Ask them what lumper is, things like that, because they're going to need to know, or you're going to have to teach them. So that's important to you. And here's a good one. When you get the quote proposal from the payroll service and they charge for year end, which again, doesn't mean they're charging you more. That's just how they break it down. Look at the number of people that you're paying every pay period, every week, every 2 weeks. Most trucking companies are every week. And let's say your business has 8 drivers and 2 office people. So that's 10 employees. And then they're showing you the estimated costs for the year end. Look at those costs and look at, they'll show you, okay, it's $10 a W-2 or whatever they charge. Look and see how many W-2s they have on there. That matters because if they only have 10, then they're either don't know, understand trucking, they don't get how trucking works, or they're being purposefully misleading. I'm just going to assume they don't understand trucking. I don't want to put bad intentions on anybody. But if they only have 10 there, they're assuming you're not going to turn over a driver in the year. And the average rate is 100% driver turnover. So if they know that, they're going to put 18 W-2s there for the estimate. So just look at those things and make sure that you're getting the deal that you want to get. I'm absolutely an advocate for cost is not everything. Cost is a piece of it, but what you're getting in return is what matters. Make sure you're getting what you want out of them. And that, again, that's universal. Like, that's not just for me. That's not pointing at us. There are a lot of payroll services that take great care of people that aren't in trucking that I know, that I'm friends with. They do great jobs. So just make sure you're getting what you want to be getting for the price you want to be paying. If you're still not sure what you're really paying or what you're missing, we have a price estimator at truckingpayroll.com. It's right on the front page. You can go there and get a quote in under a minute, and the quote will be easy to understand. Another thing you can do is reach out to us. Just go to the contact us at Trucking Payroll. If you're not sure how your payroll quote reads, send it to me. I'll help you interpret it, and I will show you the math. I will show all my work, and you can know that maybe you're getting a better deal or you're not. We're happy to help. Our mission's to help trucking families, and so that doesn't mean that everybody's going to sign up with us. So if you've got somebody that works better for you, we'll show you what we think the costs really are going to be for you on an annual basis, and then you can make your decision. If this episode was helpful to you, we'd really love it if you would follow or subscribe and rate it well, all those things. This is a new podcast, as you can see. So we need ratings and things like that to become more visible, and more small trucking companies just like yours can learn and find this more easily, and they can learn too. We're all here to pick each other up. Next episode, we're going to talk about the first of 4 conversations about per diem and how it's good for your company. We hope that you tune in, and we're so glad that you're out there. Keep on trucking. We love you guys, and we'll talk to you soon.